Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Health Coach Success Podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral, board-certified doctor of naturopathy, integrative health practitioner. I'm excited to be here with you today talking about the 9 things school doesn't teach you. These are probably 9 of the most important things in order to become a successful health practitioner, someone that might be in the fitness-based world, the wellness world, anti-aging world, weight loss world, you name it. Remember, this podcast is for the entire health, wellness, fitness-based community of how to take wherever your practice is right now, wherever it is right now, and take it to that next level. So the biggest thing that I need to share with you is this, is that school is great, right? I absolutely am a believer in education. I'm not necessarily a believer in school because different people learn in different ways. And I also believe that our school system, much like, let's even say healthcare and a lot of industries, is bought and paid for by big tech companies, big pharma companies, all these companies that, hey, this is what we want people to learn about. So this is what we're going to teach them. We're going to have them memorize these particular facts, and then we'll have them regurgitate them. But we're certainly not going to teach them to be lifelong learners and to be critical thinkers, any of those things. So, again, I believe in education, but I'm not sure that I believe in really the system now of schooling, having been through myself, in education, higher education, all those different things. And I'm going to give you a few reasons as to why. So again, a lot of people, especially a lot of my colleagues, doctors in the field, it's almost like they refuse to accept that they didn't learn everything they needed to learn in their undergrad of 4 years and their post grad, their doctoral work of 4 years. And I let them know, like, listen, you can't possibly learn everything in your undergrad or even grad school. And that's because at most, and I'm just holding one book here for anybody that's ever taken PhD-based courses, business courses, anything like this. This is a statistics book, and a lot of medical textbooks. I'm not in my Boston office right now, but I have all my my medical texts on oncology and toxicology and embryology and all the ologies. But they're very similar to this. These are big books. These are probably about, most college textbooks are somewhere around 800 pages. They're big textbooks as well. Not overly wordy. There's lots of graphs. And certainly, again, not bad for you to get your education on. You should certainly know these things. But let's take a little look back. Again, the reason why I'm saying this is that there's a lot of people who hide behind their degrees as saying, whoa, I've got my degree, and they're 10, 20 years removed from getting their degree. And I'm like, well, what have you read lately? Like, a lot's happened lately. And they're like, oh, well, every once in a while I pick up a journal. Well, that's not enough, because when you're in undergrad or grad school, you're reading maybe the equivalent to 40 of these textbooks. Again, and that's a decent amount. I'm not saying it's not. You're taking 5 classes or so a semester, or for the first half, the second half, maybe somewhere around 10, 40 classes or so to get your degree. It really depends on the school you're at and all those different things. But again, regardless of that, so you've read 40 textbooks. That's probably the equivalent to about 100, 120 regular books. And again, that's fantastic. That's more than most people will, which is why you're an expert in that field, because you've read more. You've showed your foundation, you've read more, you've learned more than most people will on that topic. But I don't know that that's enough to be able to carry you through what you need to know for your industry and help people to the greatest degree possible. And I'll tell you this, I found that it's not. Unless your work is robotic. And again, I have many friends, many colleagues that are medical doctors. And I believe that their brilliance is wasted on people coming in with, let's say, again, everything's diagnosed by blood work. So they come in, their cholesterol's 250. Well, what does the medical doctor do? It puts them on they put them on a statin, right? And then another person comes in, they take their blood pressure, it's 165 over 105. What do? Well, they put them then on a blood pressure medication, and they either use a beta blocker, calcium channel blocker, diuretics, like whatever it might be. But you're basically just saying, if patient A comes in with this, then they get this. And if patient B comes in with this, then they get this. And that is almost a waste of the brilliance because you are not doing a lot of critical based thinking. What are you doing? You're regurgitating information that you memorized on a chart. That's really it. And so again, like I know I'm demeaning and I don't mean to be that way, but we have to understand is that there's so much more to helping people. And the people listening to this podcast, whether you're a medical doctor and you're looking to get more into the natural health field, you have to understand is that unless you're a surgeon, unless you're someone really working on a surgeon is obviously fixing something that's been broken. But, if you're just prescribing a medication for a chronic-based health condition like cardiovascular, blood pressure, diabetes, you name it, like we're not helping people at deepest level. But that's where, again, health coaches, and when I say health coaches, let me combine that with, again, personal trainers, acupuncturists, chiropractors, naturopathic doctors, you name it. And again, we all approach it at different ways. But if you're able to dissect a situation and say, look at this. This is what's going on. This is going on. Let me run an at-home lab test. Let me do this. You're able to look at things at a much deeper level. But beyond that, whether you're a medical doctor, chiropractor, naturopathic doctor, personal trainer, health coach, yoga instructor, you name it, you need to be able to understand that if you want to be successful, and I want you to be successful, I hope that you are successful. Remember, the more successful you are typically means the more people you serve and are helping, right? Always remember that, because it's not true 100% of the time, but I'll say 90% of the time, maybe more, the more successful you are. Like again, let's say that you're an ethical practitioner, of course. The more successful you are, and everybody has to define success for what they believe success to be, but whatever you define success to be, the more successful you are, well, first of all, the more proud and grateful and just like great you feel, but also look at all these other people that you've helped and served. I was happy helping, 100 people or so a month, but then I was able to help about 2,000 people a month, right? With a team, I was able to grow that out, and then it grew to 20,000 appointments a year. And then over the years, over 250,000 people we've been able to help. And that to me feels absolutely amazing, but there's a couple reasons for that. One, I brought other people up on the way with me, right? Other people came up, my entire team. Now they're all working as full-time practitioners, getting to do what they love. Some as nutritionists, some as integrative health practitioners, some as personal trainers, and the list goes on and on. So what I want for you is to say that, again, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So become successful. Everything in your life will get better. It really means that because of what you need to accomplish for you, right? For you to get successful, for you to be more successful, well, you need to learn a lot along the way. And as you do, it enriches your life in so many different areas. So what I want to do is I want to go over right now, again, whether you're going to go back to school or whether you're going to do a health coaching certification or whatever it might be, whatever the next step is, I want you to think about which one of these you might need a little bit more work. So I've narrowed it down to 9. So these are 9 things that school will not teach you that you just simply need to learn at your own in order to be a more successful practitioner and have a much more successful health coaching business as well. So the number one is this. You need education. So that's why the first and foremost, I just want to dispel the fact that I don't think education is important. I think education is crucial. We have too many people getting on their phone and making a video and saying that, this whole virus is caused by, a particular meteor going by in space right now. And like, anybody can say anything and just like, well, what's going on? Like, are they representing us? They can't represent us, but they get put in this kind of like alternative based sphere. And it's disappointing. So again, we want education to be paramount. However, that education does not always have to come from school. I get asked all the time, do you recommend going back and becoming a naturopathic doctor? Do you recommend going back to school, becoming a chiropractor, going back to school, becoming an osteopathic doctor? And I think all of those can be fantastic choices. It's just, is it the choice for you? Is it the path for you? Because you could be really satisfied with becoming something like an IHP level 2 practitioner, right? Where you're able to run at-home labs. You're able to help people with diet and exercise and stress reduction and toxin removal and rest and emotional balance and scientifically validated supplement protocols and a success mindset, right? You're able to do that, and that might take you 6 months to a year to get certified maximum. And then you're on to, you're on the way to the races for yourself. So it really depends on what you're looking to do. And again, there's many different certifications. There's many different courses out there, but here's the thing. Education is what I call like signing up for a sport when you're little and you get your uniform. Like that's it. You get your entry to it. Like you have to have an education, but it's really just your starting point, and that's it. Because there's so much more. Like every single year, I talked about it, right? 40 textbooks to make it through most college. Maybe that's equivalent to like, let's be honest, like 120 or so books. And that's a good amount, but that's over the course of 4 years. There has been many years where I've read, well, and I always read, actually it's only 120, over 120 books a year, because that's 2 books a week. And if you're really dedicated and you're following my how to read 10 to 20 pages a day formula, you'll be able to read 100 plus books a year as well, and you'll absolutely become an expert. So it's for you to decide. I mean, do you want to go formal schooling, or do you want to learn on your own? And that, again, I can't tell people what to do, but certainly you do need an education. It is important. It's paramount. But you decide where you're going to get it, and then also when your 6-month certification ends, or your year, or your 2-year, or your 4-year degree, whatever it is, it doesn't stop. It has to continue. Okay. Number 2 is this: daily discipline is what will make you successful. You have to understand is that we all want to reach our end goal now. I get that. I totally understand it. I set big goals for myself as well, but I started with exactly 0 nutrition clients when I first became a nutritionist. And then later while I was in undergrad as well, I became a personal trainer. And I started with exactly 0 clients at that point. And then I became a strength and conditioning specialist. And I started with 0 clients then. And then I consulted for many different wellness spas and gyms and different places around New York and Massachusetts and Connecticut and New Hampshire and Rhode Island. And I started with 0 of those facilities that I was working with. And then I opened up my first location, my second location, 0 clients. And the people that I hired for my team had 0 clients. So you get the point, right? When I began my podcast in 2016, the Cabral Concept, I had 0 listeners, and then they started to, build up. So again, but what is it? It's daily discipline. You say, this is what I want to be doing with my life. This is what I love to do with my life. And I know that I will begin to put in the work every single day, and it will build every single day. But it's daily discipline that's going to get you there. And when you go to school, they teach you like, oh, well, just go to school, graduate, and then get a job. Well, even if you get a job, you need to excel every day in order to keep that job or get promoted within that company. And if you want to start your own practice, it is daily discipline that not only is going to build that practice, but it's what's going to allow you to sustain a high level of success in the long term. Because you can't just stop once you become successful. That's not how it works. All right, number 3 is this. And this is going to seem a little counterintuitive, but don't open a practice right away. Do not open your own practice right away. So when I became a personal trainer, way back in the day, let's see, 96, 97, 98, somewhere around there. Yeah, right around there. I worked for gyms, right? I was a nutritionist, personal trainer in gyms. And I worked then for a higher end gym when I graduated undergrad. And then after that, I learned a lot. I started doing a little bit of consulting. And then I opened up my own facility end of 2006, beginning of 2007. So what did I do? Well, I didn't know enough to open my own place. So what would have happened was I would have made all sorts of mistakes, which I still did anyways. That's part of the process. And I would have lost a lot of money and probably gone out of business because I didn't know the business fundamentals of actually running a well-oiled machine. So I learned what not to do at most gyms. That's the truth. Gyms are big corporations that don't care about people, don't care about relationships, don't care about their employees for the most part. Now, if you run a gym and you're the opposite of that, because I know we have have a lot of gym owners listening to this, then I commend you. And I actually worked with a lot of gym owners that were fantastic. So you can't treat your people, whether they're employees or your members, as a number. That's just not how it works, right? So that's also what I try to teach gyms when I was consulting with them in spas and all that. But here's the thing. I'm fortunate that I got to work 6 years or so before I opened up my practice. Now, I will say this, though. When I graduated with my graduate degree, my doctorate degree, I worked for 1 year inside of another practice. So I still own my other location, but I wouldn't say that I was working for them. I rented an office inside of an integrative health-based practice. 2 chiropractors that I still talk to this day, 2 acupuncturists, and 2 massage therapists, 1 physical therapist. And it was an amazing practice. I was a naturopath working there, chiros, acupuncturists, PTs, and massage therapists, LMTs. So it was a great facility. And basically what I got to learn was kind of just watching how it all worked, the fundamentals, because I knew that I always wanted to open up my own functional medicine-based wellness center. And I did a year later. So we were cross-referring patients and wellness clients to each other. And I made so many great connections. And of course, I was able to learn how to have a receptionist because I never had a front desk receptionist that I would work with. Should I bill insurance, not bill insurance, scheduling, software, all those different types of things. So that was remarkable. What I'm sharing with you is this. Don't open up your own practice right out of the gates because you can learn under someone else for a year or 2, save yourself that frustration and begin to learn what you do like and what you don't like. There was a lot of things I didn't like and I'm like, great, I won't do those things. Oh, but I really like how they do this. All right. So hopefully that's helpful as well. Number 4 is this. Whether you open up a physical location as a massage therapist, acupuncturist, chiro, etc., and they're all great, by the way. Again, I have my own office still, all those great things. It's still there. But I'll tell you this. This is very important. Add a virtual component. We all know from living through the pandemic that if it ever happens again, that you have a virtual component to your practice. But also, you then don't have to take on all the overhead if you don't want. Meaning that we teach inside of IHP especially that you can work from a spare bedroom in your house with a nice little backdrop with clients all over the world, and it's very professional. Like that's the thing. It doesn't have to be. It can be a large closet, which some people use. Like legitimately put a little light there, a nice little backdrop. You've got your laptop set up, a little webcam, or just use the camera on your laptop if you'd like, and really you're good to go. So what I'm saying is, no matter what, whether you have the full location or not. So I opened up my second location in 2012, 2013, took a while to build out. And after about 3 years, 4 years or so, we started to get a lot of people all over the world who wanted to work with us, which was amazing, from referrals, et cetera. And again, we'll be teaching more of this, referrals. So they wanted to work with us. And back then, what did we do? Well, there wasn't all these fancy types of software in 2015 or so. So we used Skype and we were able to work with people and add another dimension to our practice, help more people. Remember, what you always have to ask yourself, is this about the money or is this about serving more people? And if it's about serving more, living your highest good, then absolutely add it to your practice. And of course, you can make an income for that as well. So always add a virtual component. And this goes for, because I know a lot of massage therapists and acupuncturists and people out there will be saying, oh, well, what about for us? Like, what about for us? Well, first of all, you can also add a health coaching component to your practice, okay? That is one thing that you can do. Now, the second is this. A few months ago, I injured my shoulder. Haven't had an injury in quite some time, but you know what? Life happens sometimes. Injured my shoulder, and I wasn't able to connect with, being out of state, with some of the people that I know and that I trust. And they were all in practice, and I said, can I do a virtual consult with you? Okay, can I do a virtual consult? Because I believe I have an inkling of where this is coming from. Again, I know the human body anatomy, but you're the expert. There's a chiropractor that I really like. He's amazing with active release therapy and all sorts of functional range conditioning. And I want to just talk through the process with him. And I want to say, these are the ranges where it hurts. What's the most likely scenario? What's the most likely issue? What are the potential based rehab things? What's some of the soft tissue work I can do? The myofascial release, and we can work through it together. Again, offer a virtual-based component in your practice. All right, number five is this. Your business is no longer local. So this has to do with number 4. I learned in 2016 when I started to get a little bit more on social media. I didn't really start on social media until 2018, but I began my podcast in 2016, and I said this, listen, I'm gonna share every day for free. Every single day for free, what I know to work, how to help people find the underlying root causes of what ails them. And that's what I did. So I began to share that. Lo and behold, people started to email in, contact me on social media, contact me in the contact form on my website, whatever it might be, apply to the practice. And I began to work with people all over the world. You know, when I work with people in Australia, other side of the world, right? Well, what does it mean? Well, my 4 to 5 o'clock appointment at night is there 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. in the morning. We can still make it happen. My 12 o'clock noon appointment will be 5 or 6 p.m. in Europe. But remember, you have to and can and should add a global-based component to your practice, because why would you ever turn away someone that needs your help? Okay, number 6 is you need to learn business math. Okay, these are things that they don't teach you in school, right? Never will teach you in school. You have to understand simple economics and simple math. I am someone that I absolutely love algebraic math, right? I love being able to come up with like formulas for success. Business math is all about algebra. We don't need calculus here. I've taken calculus, don't love calculus because I can't apply calculus for the most part in my life. Yes, I've taken statistics and health biostatistics-based classes, but you don't need to know this in everyday practice. You absolutely don't. When do you need to know about biostatistics? If you're ever on PubMed reading some research. That's about it. So in everyday practice, it's unnecessary, but you need to know business math. And I'm going to be teaching this on a future podcast, so definitely stay tuned for that. But you need to think about it like this. Let's say that as a practitioner, you want to make $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year. That's fair. Like, that is fair to say, like, without a doubt. After write-offs and all that, you might clear $100,000 or so a year after taxes or so. So think about it like this. Okay, you want to be able to make $10,000 a month. Well, start with that end in mind. Okay, so what do you need to do? Well, if you charge $100 an hour, how many sessions do you need to do? How many appointments do you need to do a month? Oh, you need to do 100, right? Okay. Well, how many of that is a week? Well, if you want 4 weeks off per year, once, let's say every quarter or so, then you need to do 25 hours per week, right? 25 hours a week is 100 hours over 4 weeks. 4 times 12 is 48. There's 52 weeks in a year. That gives you 4 weeks off per year. You know, Christmas to New Year's, maybe 4th of July here in the US, somewhere around Labor Day, New Year's, whatever it might be. But just remember, like, again, simple business math is going to take you very far in this industry, right? Especially, let's just say, oh, you bring on team members. Okay, well, maybe you're making 50% and you're giving them 50%. Well, now how do you make another $100,000 in your practice? Well, now you need to charge the same $100 and bring on 2 full-time employees, each bringing in the same 50%, and that equals one more. Now, well, you're at $240,000 per year, maybe $200,000 or so after taxes and all those write-offs and stuff that you can have as a business owner. But again, simple business math is something that you will need to master. It's not complicated. You can do it. I'm going to teach you more about it in the future. All right. The next is this. Number 7, don't just do one-on-ones. Okay. Don't just do one-on-one appointments. I love one-on-one appointments. I mainly do my practice one-on-one because it's the highest level of service. People get the highest level of results out of one-on-ones. However, do think about adding small groups for the people that can't afford your $100 to $200 to $500 per hour fee. Also, think about adding other items in, such as passive income streams. If you're an integrative health practitioner, go into module 10, I believe, of level 1 and look at the business-based webinars. I essentially teach you. Most people need in this world, again, how much healthier would most people be if they were to use something like the daily nutritional support shake or daily activated multivitamin with a greens powder, like the daily fruit and vegetable blend, 22 organic fruits and vegetables, with a daily probiotic support, in a digestive resistant capsule with mainly small intestinal based strains with it's also a dairy free product, right? And then what about taking an omega-3 with that, all right? So we know if we run labs, most people are deficient on what? Vitamins and minerals. They don't get enough fruits and vegetables for antioxidants and flavonols that we know extend life. And they definitely don't get those omega-3s. So, okay, those 4 products cost people what, $6 or so a day. They're already spending that on a latte, right, from Starbucks. Here's the thing. You get people on that and they're going to be so much healthier, right? They really are. Now, if you were to get 100 people to be able to say, listen, we can improve your life with just these vitamins and minerals, daily probiotic and omega-3. That's it. That's all. Let's just start there. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to teach them about it, and then you're going to be compensated for recommending a great protocol like that. And just 100 people on that in your entire ecosystem could allow you to bring in another $50,000 a year passively. Okay, I'm not going to go into all of that right now. That is not what this podcast is all about. But just know that it can happen. Anytime you have questions about this, let us know. Just email us. We're here to help. You can literally email support@integrativehealthpractitioner.org. And again, like, we're here to help. So just let us know. And all of that is available on our business webinars as well. Okay. Number 8 is this, because I know this podcast is going a little bit long. Typically, these podcasts are going to be right around the 20-minute mark, 22-minute mark. So the next is this. Think about it. Who's going to be your next teacher? So I know I said these are things that you're not going to learn in school, right? And you're not. Because in school, they teach you once you're done with your degree, somehow you've learned it all, right? You know it all. Well, here's the thing. If I didn't continue to seek out mentors in my life, I would have never found my mentor, Dr. Pete. I would have never been able to figure out how to blend Ayurvedic medicine with functional medicine lab testing. And for me to eventually go on, learn about traditional Chinese medicine, bioregulatory medicine, orthomolecular medicine, you name it, right? 7 different disciplines of IHP. So each time I would seek out different mentors. Those mentors have taught me so much more than I could ever learn in school. I'll tell you this, since I've been out of school, I've learned way more about health, wellness, fitness, you name it, because I've always gotten the opportunity that I've made for myself to reach out to people and say, hey, can I intern under you? Can I study under you? Do you have any courses available? How can I learn more from you? And that's always what I've done. So I can't recommend enough the same for you. So again, how do you do that? Well, look for a mentor. Who is a person who's doing what you want to be doing? All right. The next is find a mastermind group. If you're looking to take your career to the next level, is there a mastermind group that you could be a part of? 10 people, 20 people in a group, all like-minded, trying to do that same exact thing together. All right. The next one is even joining a program like IHP Mastery, which is all about taking your life and your client's life to the next level, gaining more consistency, right? All right. The very last one is this, number 9. This is something that they do not teach you in school. That if you want something bad enough, it is virtually impossible to fail. I've always said that it's a matter of when, not if, you will achieve your goals. If you've listened to any of my Mindset and Motivation Monday podcasts on the Cabral concept, you've heard me say over and over, if you want something bad enough, if you set that vision for your life, it's not a matter of if, but simply a matter of when you will achieve it. You have to understand they'll never teach you this in school. But if you set a vision for yourself and you take daily action through daily discipline every single day, sure, you set that goal for $10,000 a month. Well, maybe the first year you make $30,000, right? Start off a couple hundred, then maybe a couple thousand after a few months, and then you start to work your way up. Great. You make $30,000 the first year. Fantastic. Okay. Second year, well, now you do a little bit better. You're making $70,000. But you didn't hit your goal yet. Third year, you make $100,000. You might say, well, I don't want to wait 3 years to make $120,000. And I say, you may not. But the time's going to pass anyway, right? And the truth is, once you learn how to make that income that you want, it will never go away. You know the blueprint. So now sky's the limit. You want to earn more? You know how to earn more. If you always want to maintain that $120,000 or so a year, you can do that as well. You have to understand is that If you want something bad enough and you wake up every day with that vision, it's simply a matter of time. Thank you so much for tuning into today's podcast. This is another episode of the Health Coach Success Podcast. It's been a real pleasure with these first couple of shows, bringing this information. We have so much more to go. Stay tuned and take care.